forever, and I've got to make my decision. This time it could be my moment. Is this a mirage or a chance to fulfill my mission? A river in a dry land, the land is in a lost land. A heartbeat for demon, oasis in a strange land. I'm given the balance, but I'm standing on razor's edge now. Real quick, all my life is over. One strike just a pain, then I'm out of his field of vision. Don't ask why I'm ready, but I'm ready to strike them down now. I just saw the new stars, there's no time for indecision. A river in a dry land, the land is in a lost hand. When I hop off new beginnings, burn our feet. Now we need it, a heartbeat for demon, oasis in a strange land. Remind us what we're here for, creating new life, creating rivers in the desert. My heart is a furnace, had a selling my word of conflict. One goes what keeps me going. Take back what I lost to the bosses of greed and fear. Yeah. Don't ask why I'm ready, but I'm ready to take them down now. The time for a new start is constantly drawing nearer. A river in a dry land, the land is in a lost hand. When I hop off new beginnings, burned out feet. Now we need it, a heartbeat for demon, oasis in a strange land. Remind us what we're here for, creating new life, creating rivers in the desert. When a cool drop of water's all I need, gotta clear my head of anger and greed. A place to refresh heart and mind. Can I find some time? And rivers and a dry land, the land is a lost land. When I hop off new beginnings, burn our feet. Now we need it, a heartbeat for demon, oasis in a strange land. Remind us
Welcome everybody to After Dark. Thank you guys for showing up. We just finished our third podcast we ever did, and I got double sounds going. God damn it! I'm just gonna cut that. There we go. I got echoes. I'm terrible. Anyway.
Welcome to the show, exclusively named after me, but I hosted on Liv's channel.
Exactly. Well, I guess I need to ask, what is your take on eating on stream? Because I was actually gonna tell you about that.
Oh no.
Do you ever do it on yours?
Have?
You have?
Hungry? I try and mute my mic best I can, but...
Well, I just wanted to say you do it way better than JoJo, so already because of that, you already get major points on my end. But I was going to let you know that I kind of have like a no eating policy on my stream. I never had to bring it up because, you know, but as long as you mute your mic, I think we'll be fine, but...
What do you mean? You can't
As long as it doesn't become an issue or a problem. Like you actually eat with your mouth closed. I'm fine with that. But I would prefer to have you mute your mic. But
like we could have food ASMR like this. I just ended up hitting my mic with the freaking...
Oh, come on. The solid crunch. I can't take that, man. I hate that.
I warned you. I gave ample warning.
You want me to just go ahead and mute you? Oh, man. Yeah, I kind of have like a no eating policy. I've been meaning to kind of talk about that. But, I guess it kind of already went to shit.
Oh, Fox, what do you want from me?
Mute the furry. But yeah, that was just like one of my things, and I guess the one thing I wanted to talk about today, I guess I should probably talk about what happened on my podcast when I hosted. Basically, I felt fucking depressed afterwards. I just felt so terrible. I was also anticipating Dark to actually tell me when the next one was gonna be. To be honest, I actually don't have an answer because I kind of don't feel like I want to do it. I'm gonna do one eventually, but I don't want to do the next one because I think I'm still trying to settle from my first podcast, so... But basically, immediately after I left Dark from Discord and had a chance to like let everything sink in, I just hated everything. It was like a whole process, and basically it took me 3 days to finally like, okay, you need to let this go and just get over it already. But I knew something was wrong when the next day I had to stream. And I sat down in front of my computer, everything was off, and I just had a feeling like, this is uncomfortable. I don't want to do this. And when that happened, I knew something was wrong. But I decided to stream anyway, and thank God I did. And I do want to thank Josh in particular. We kind of talked a little bit in Discord a little bit, and he also told me that he actually did like the podcast, and I do thank you for that. And for anyone that did like my version of the podcast, I do want to thank you. But at the same time, like when I first did it, like I really just hated everything. Like even the post podcast I hated. Like I just hated everything. After Dark, the actual podcast, I hated everything. Day 2 was like, okay, the depression's over, but I still kind of hate it. And it was like that night after the stream. What did I stream that day? It may have been Metal Gear Solid, but I did the stream, played a game, and then later that night I started thinking to myself, well, what was it specifically did you hate? And here was another thing. I also kept telling myself there's no redeemable qualities. No redeemable qualities. I just kept saying that to myself over and over. There's just no redeemable qualities. If there's nothing redeemable, then what did you think about the Artist of the Week? It was someone that I did like. Like, are you actually gonna not like it just because it's associated with the podcast? Like, you actually like the music, so why are you hating on it? And it was at that point I was like, okay, that was fine, but I didn't like the flow. I didn't like how I transitioned from one topic to another and all this other stuff. And eventually I was like, well, the hobbies and other interests, that was actually something that I think was not supposed to be for viewership reasons. That was like more of like a bonding exercise between like me and Dark, because I kind of felt like talking a little bit about like what we are and what we're all about. Like, what else do we do besides, besides streaming and gaming and that sort of thing. Also, I should probably be using this screen as well. But basically, that's what I originally started thinking, and then by day 3, I eventually realized, and this may sound like I'm kind of attacking Dark a little bit, but it's not his fault. But basically, the last 2 topics, the Live Shits On and the video part, I actually didn't really. If things went down the way I originally planned, we'll probably be doing whatever Dark Fox wanted to do, because I thought, and this is and I think I might go into detail here about like how I planned on doing the podcast. We all come up with 4 topics, me and Dark, and then we'll have like a time limit of like hour and 30 minutes, whatever topic we're on, we'll finish it up, and then we'll cut to, I think the last topic I was going to do was like Artist of the Week, and then we'll do our shout outs in the stream. That's what I originally thought. And then whatever topics we don't have, we could use for the next stream, that sort of thing. And I also thought about doing that because I thought it would be a great way to like transition to the next topic, is by having, like, I wanted to do, what was it? Hobbies and other interests. So I'll start the topic out, and then and then Dark, he could probably take over. And then when I finish up my part of like hobbies and other interests, I'll ask him like, what's your hobbies and other interests? And then he'll say his bit. But then, since he wrote the next part, he will know the next topic. So then he doesn't need to kick it back to me. He could just go right into the next topic, and then he could go through his whole topic of whatever it was that he came up with, and then of course kick it back to me, and then we'll just keep going like that. At least that's what I originally thought. But then when Dark said, "Nah, I don't want to do mine," and I was like, "Oh crap!" And by the time I realized I could actually get rid of those last 2 topics, I ended up realizing I can't, because by the time I realized I could change the second half, I was already in the middle of making overlays, and not only that, but also, but not only was I in the middle of making overlays, but already had material written. I think everything written for the whole Live Shits On, so it wasn't like I could not do it because I already had the material and everything. So yeah, that's kind of what happened. And so like now I'm completely over it. It's completely water under the bridge now, but it's just at the time feeling so depressed after doing the podcast. I don't know if I want to go through that again. And I was actually gonna let Dark know, and I'm sure he's still listening. He's just muted. What I was gonna say to Dark is maybe Dark should maybe do the next podcast, and I think for once we do the next one after that, I think I'm gonna consider doing it one more time, and basically I'm gonna treat it like my last, because I don't know if I'm gonna do it again, because I don't think it's healthy that I just feel depressed afterwards. I mean, it's okay to hate your own stuff, but it's the depression part that I kind of hate. And so that's kind of something I've been kind of thinking about. And I obviously have a lot on my mind, so it's not something I can necessarily like bring up on the podcast, which is why, I held it off for this moment. And this is kind of like the whole reason why I thought of like, After Dark, is so that way if there's stuff that we need to go more detail about, we could do it here. If there's other stuff that we missed, we could also do it here. Honestly, in my opinion, I think mine overall, the one that I did, I think the second half was where it was lacking mostly. But something about it, I still hate the flow, the transitions, that kind of type of stuff. But for the most part, it was, I think where I felt the depression was because of the last two segments before Artist of the Week. And I guess it's because I felt like me and Josh were like the two people that like got the jokes and could like enjoy the second half. Meanwhile, the rest of you is like, you're kind of being forced to watch something that you probably don't want to watch. And because of that, I felt like after the podcast, I felt like I kept you guys hanging around watching the podcast for 2 hours, and you lost 2 hours of your life. And because of that, and then there's also the idea that I always felt like I could have done the jokes better, I could have done this better, that better. That always still lingers, but for the most part, I think the first half was fine. It was just that second half is where I think the problems lie, and why I felt so horrible. And I just let that second half kind of like get to me, kind of like I just couldn't land the jokes as good as I want. I felt like I could have done the jokes better for Live Shits on. Wasn't thinking about it at the time, but I thought maybe the videos went on a little too long. The ones that I went with, the two videos that I went with. I mean, it's just nitpicking to some degree, but I mean, it's just how I felt, so I was just gonna let you guys know here. And all in all, so far from like the podcast that we have done, I kind of feel like there's elements to where I do better. I think the one thing I do notice with me right now is I think I have a better understanding of how to finish the podcast. I thought I sent Dark some templates of like the links to our streams and stuff, our shout out segments. The ones I'm talking about are what is it? This and this.
It did. I didn't have enough time to
Oh, okay.
then, because remember I just got on like 10 minutes. I loaded up my computer, got everyone together like 10 minutes before the podcast, because
Wait,
100% would have.
Didn't I send you those on Wednesday though? Tuesday.
Live, please. You say this. I'm a university student. I'm a master of procrastinating. I have a degree in procrastinating. Had those prepared beforehand. I really should have.
You used the nameplates, but the shout-out segments, they...
Look, it's... the nameplates were easy, okay? Easy, like, and also mandatory. We needed those.
They are mandatory.
Dark. Okay, that it was 100%. Those weren't in there.
Oh god, I forgot to do my thing. There we go.
Yeah.
I need to constantly remember to not really mess around with freaking whatchamacallit.
The Discord?
Discord, yeah.
I found an easy thing is, are you using the browser version?
Desktop.
Oh, desktop, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind what I'm going to say. Effect on anything you're doing.
What else do I have down here? I completely forgot. I had this idea in my head that I was going to introduce Lucky, and I just kind of like blacked out a little bit and just kind of did my usual of like just shutting the hell up. So I had it in my head I was going to introduce him, but I completely forgot.
Yeah, you seemed a little. I was like opening it, and I'm like, to pick up on it, so I just kind of kept going.
Yeah, and yeah, that was just one of my moments of where I just don't really talk to people, so it's like, yeah, it was just one of those things.
To be fair, at the beginning, my head was also like everywhere because of everything. Just I had to just throw everything together.
Yeah, like normally, I also do need to point out for those that weren't here from the start. Normally, we like kind of set up a little bit for like an hour,
but for like an hour,
yeah, and because of that, like Lucky, he's the reason why he's not here is because he's got other stuff to do. So like once we all got in, we kind of had to like just start right away. So could have cropped out the Discord area so it doesn't show the UI and
yeah, there's a way to do that. I have no idea.
I think there is a way, but for some reason, yeah, I just never did that.
Look, we couldn't figure out how to get a third person to do a call. That took 5 minutes. Pretty Lucky managed it. I was like, Liv, do you know how to do it? Nope.
Yeah, that's...
Lucky knows how to do it. Lucky, do you know how to do that?
I always kind of took it that, like, you had to be friends, and I slowly noticed none of you are actually on my friends list in Discord. Oh, wait, screw it. Should do that over here.
Fake friend. Hashtag exposed. Hashtag live to lie.
Every single time when the only reason I'm bringing it up is because I remember JoJo, and I think it was me, JoJo, and Dead were just kind of like, well, if you had to come up with an alternative name for like the Discord, what would it be? And we were just kind of going through it, and it seems like everyone just locks onto the L1ve2Win part with my name, and it seems like Dead's the only one that got it right from out of everybody. The man that gives zero shits. That's me to a T right there.
Yeah, Dead's the kind of person where when he actually pays attention and actually shows that he actually paid attention, it's one of those like Nani moments where it's like, expect that from you.
I know. And then I think after...
Hey, sorry. Play Borderlands, big goddamn it. The fucking first one. I'll play it myself so you don't take all the loot.
He
I
does
really
take
do
all
like
the
playing
loot.
games with Dad, but
Oh,
organizing it's
god damn! I'm trying to think of like what game. Oh yeah, it was Division. I noticed that Division was free for like a weekend, so I kind of downloaded it and thought nothing of it. Played it, thought it was okay, and then all of a sudden I just jumped into a game with Dead, and it was like, no, I'm not just gonna play the weekend. Like this was actually fun, so I actually bought the game, and I think it was on discount too. So because of that, I'm now I'm now into Division. So yeah, I noticed that hanging out with Dead it just makes the game so much more fun and entertaining.
make it interesting, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, that was another thing I noticed. Red Dead 2 is 150 gigs. That is so much space. Just to give people an idea, GTA 5 is only 60, and that's more than double. I guess those 4K quality is going to work. So yeah, that's like a fifth of a terabyte. So needless to say, I don't know how I'm gonna pull it off, but I need to look at my data plan for November, because that is just gonna cut right into it. For those that don't know, that's part of the reason why I don't stream as often as I do, is because of my data plan. I gotta keep it under a terabyte. I thought about bringing this up on stream, but meh. I was just gonna mention the Rockstar, what is it? The Red Dead 2. Apparently the standard, there's a special offer right now to where the standard edition is basically obsolete, and they just replaced it with special edition. So there's like a $20 off special on Red Dead 2 for the Rockstar launcher. And 2 free games, but I thought about bringing that up, but meh. Seemed like there was something else. I think there was a song, wasn't there? Oh yeah, when we were talking about music, the only other thing that I forgot to mention was, at least in one particular case, I could actually recount a time to where I actually, I found a song that actually kind of is relevant to history, and it's a song that I really do like. It's called Public Enemy Number 1 from Megadeth, and what I thought was interesting about it is because I thought I heard that it's actually supposed to be about Al Capone, but when I read off some of the lyrics, I'm actually thinking it's more John Dillinger. And that was just something I just thought was interesting. Part of the song goes something like jailbreak and a smoking gun. When I heard that, my first thought was there was a time to where John Dillinger, he actually was in prison at one point, and for those that don't know who John Dillinger is, he was a gangster from the 1930s, and he just robbed banks. And at one point, he was in prison, and he paid a guard to help him escape. And the rule was, I can't give you a gun. There's no way I could give you a gun. And what they settled for was a piece of wood that is spray painted black to, I guess, look like a gun, and he gave him that. And basically, John Dillinger busted out of prison with a fake gun, and he held one of the prison guards at alleged gunpoint when it was just a piece of wood. He had his back turned and just pressed it right up against his back, and I think he had like a real gun, so he took that, and then as like an added finger, he just ended up telling everyone to get in the prison cell, and then he just kind of showed the wooden gun and just left. And then there's a part of the song to where it's like a stolen car and I'm on the run. When I read that, my first thought was, well, he did like V8 engines because they're faster. But that was like one song I did forget to bring up during the podcast. Then after that, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Unless I want to talk about Hell in a Cell. There was a terrible Hell in a Cell match recently. It was really terrible. How the fuck do you have a no disqualification match to where it ends in disqualification?
Yeah, that's
stupidity
weird.
at its finest. It's just because I'm a wrestling fan. I just thought that was funny. But then again, I don't know what is more funny. A no disqualification match that ends in a DQ finish, or the fact that Vince McMahon actually said this: WWE is too pro wrestling. It's too much pro wrestling. Then what the fuck are you running, sir? He actually said that. Apparently there was like a wrestler that was talking to a journalist, and that was an actual quote he used. I just thought that was the most stupidest thing I ever heard. What's the name of the company? WWE? What does that stand for? World what now? World Wrestling? Entertainment? Nani? When I heard about that, I just thought, what the state of your company, mate. He's a billionaire, by the way. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it that I wanted to talk about, unless there's something else that you could think of. Pro wrestler doesn't want to be pro wrestle. I know.
I don't know. I just think maybe like on that rant to let you go on, kind of being a little hard on yourself, and if it will help you, I'll doing the stuff. If you really feel that way about it, then
it was just the day of after the fact. It was just once you left, I just immediately just felt depressed. And yeah, it was, I mean, it's just the idea that if every podcast I do, I ended up feeling depressed, like I think that's unhealthy. And so like if it happens again, obviously I'm just gonna have to step down as a host, I think. Yeah, it was just, I'm hoping it's a one-time deal and it just was something that just happened. I mean, if that's the case, yeah, I'm going to be continuing on as a host for sure. But I mean, if that just keeps happening, I think that's not healthy. So Yeah. I mean, you gave it another shot. If you still feel like that, then you have valid. Yeah, I do have a very valid reason for sure. It, like I said, I just hope to God it's just a case to where it was like a one-time deal and it doesn't happen again. But basically, I really had to sit myself down and just like tell myself, like, what do you mean no redeemable qualities? Like that is complete bullshit, and you know it. And basically, once I did that, I was like, okay, well, there was still this I didn't like. What do you mean hobbies and other interests? Yeah, the people watching is probably not for them, but between me and Dark, that's just something to like know a little bit about the two of us, because that's kind of like what the podcast is about, is we know a little bit more about each other as we keep doing this. And yeah, so that was just kind of like a thing that just kind of happened. So, and if it does happen again, I mean, like, it's obviously that's just unhealthy. So I think I would have to step down permanently. But I think if I did it again soon-ish, I think because I still kind of feel like some of it's there, not necessarily like the depression, but like I think I just needed more time to just kind of completely let it be completely under the bridge. I think for the most part it is right now, but I don't know. It's just I want to take it at a slow pace. And I mean, it is also the idea that our first podcast, we did it within a week, and for what we did for a week notice, like, it was actually pretty good. And then here I am with 2 weeks, and I felt like it was the worst podcast we did, and at least in my opinion. But because I could stand hating something that I did, but where I feel like I'm like holding everyone back to, like, I'm having you guys to like sit around for 2 hours, and you guys have like no interest in what's going on. Something about that just feels wrong to me, and I guess because of that, it makes me feel depressed. Because it. But then again, I do know Josh did tell me multiple times that he did enjoy it, and because of that, I do thank him. I do want to thank him for that, and I'm sure there's probably a couple others that that would probably tell me something similar to where, yeah, it probably wasn't a perfect show, but you did your best. And for those,
And I hope I said that. Like, I know I gave you, I gave constructive criticism after our last one, but
if you did, it probably went completely
it
over my head, because I will admit, every time when we finished a podcast, we always had like a little bit, well, except for the first one, because I actually thought you completely cut out, but that was a whole nother thing. I thought your internet cut out or something, and I was like, and then when you came back, I was like already streaming, and I was like, well, do you need to go to the bathroom or something? Like, because if you need another break, we can do it now, kind of type of thing. So that one, we just kind of just ran with it. So, and then of course now we kind of have like, okay, if you're good, let's go ahead and do the podcast or after show. So yeah, now we kind of have it like we have our routine now. But yeah, it was the moment that we had before we did the after dark. There was a moment to where Dark was talking to me like about his take on everything. I wouldn't be surprised if he'd tell me like, you did try your best, you did good, but I still feel like maybe you should have done this a little bit differently. He probably did do that, but honestly, I do remember telling him, I just feel like shit right now. I said that, and then I just kind of left it at that. But in the back of my head, I could feel the depression just coming on, and that whole time with the podcast After Dark, I was slowly becoming depressed. I was trying to kick myself out of it, and I'll have like these moments to where, oh yeah, I do want to bring this up, so I brought it up. But then once it settles back down, it's like, oh god, dude, that podcast was so terrible. So yeah, it was. Yeah, I just felt so distracted in the After Dark when I did my podcast. But I mean, for the most, like I said, for the most part, it's water under the bridge now. But I still feel like I'm gonna try and ease my way back into doing it again. So, and again, I do want to thank everybody for those that did like the podcast, or there were some elements that they did like. For those, I do thank you, but it's just how I feel about it. I feel like so far it's probably the worst that we've done. I kind of feel like as a host, I think Dark has more of a knack for doing it. He just needs a little help on that finish. That's all he just needs to do. Once he gets that down, he will be a pro caster in no time. So.
Oh, resisting sex joke so badly because it would just burn myself. Yeah. Concluding. I don't want to say finishing. Concluding upon. Fuck's sake. Concluding, like, stuff. I have a hard time with that, yes. I have a hard time with concluding things.
Yeah, of course my suggestion was, just say to everyone, hey, what are you doing on your podcast? Where can we find you? And that sort of thing. That's how I thought about finishing it. And it was just an idea. I think it's a good way to finish. But, yeah. Well, it's kind of funny how Dark, I think for the most part, like, up until the finish, like, I think he's actually really good. I actually can't really think of anything to where I guess the one thing I will kind of say, but I think it's just me nitpicking, is there are moments to where it's dead air, but to be honest, I think he's kind of thinking, well, somebody else would say something, and luckily I think we had lucky to where I think that was I think having him on, it did kind of help. So I think that did kind of fill in those dead air moments. So
yeah, that that helped. I'm just laughing. Oh, Josh, here's a tip, Dark. Just imagine if you're in the room and you really badly want to end this party, so you leave. Before ending the party, it wouldn't get to that point. And I just leave. It's like, where did he go? He's the host. He did end the party.
So it's kind of
Jingo with reference.
So it's just kind of funny, the idea that, like, I think for the best podcast out of the two of us, you probably need to, like, do the actual podcast, but I kind of feel like I need to end it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny, that dynamic. Mm. With that together, we could possibly end up with the best podcast.
Yeah, could you just end all of my streams for me? I just call you on Discord, then you just end my streams for me.
Alright, Dark, this is how you're gonna end the fucking stream. Here you go. But yeah, but as much of a hiccup I kind of feel like my podcast was, I think we're slowly getting it together.
Yeah.
So and plus I think for having Lucky on, I think that really did help. And I don't know, I'm pretty sure he already knows, but like, that guy's just welcome on anytime. It's a rewind time. Dark is the action and live is the reaction. Nice. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it that I wanted to bring up, so unless you have anything.
Not really.
Alright. So I guess well, I guess since you should we say the next podcast or should we just sleep on it?
Like when we wanted, when
Cuz
it would probably happen.
Because I'm not going to be hosting the next one, at least. So I don't know if you want to skip like mine and just like however so long, because like you want to do it every 2 weeks. I would say every month, but
We're ended up doing it like twice a month. I feel like we're doing okay right now, doing it just every 2 weeks.
because if we do it on the 26th ish, like I'm not doing it, so I don't know if you want to skip that and do it on the 9th or you want to do another one on the 26th?
I think we should aim for weekly for start having a problem with it. Because right now I feel like with it, but if it ever becomes strenuous at any point, we should go to. I know everyone wants us to do weekly.
Have you been getting that? Because I don't think anyone came by my stream saying they wanted a weekly podcast. Or do you? Or is that what you think?
I know Extreme came in after the first podcast. He's like, weekly now, do it into my freaking Discord.
Oh,
Just like, do it weekly. And I was like, I wish. Like, I like bi-weekly. I think monthly. I don't know. It just feels a little too long.
wife.
But
I guess
we'll play it by ear.
I guess the reason why I think that monthly would be better is just because there will be like a lot to talk about, surely. But that's just my thinking of it. But I mean, so far, like I think what we have is fine. So I mean, I guess if like time's a factor, yeah, bi-weekly is probably the best bet. But I don't know. Because at some point we're gonna like run low on things to come up with and topics, and that's more like what I'm thinking of. But then again, that's just me.
Yeah. I think we're, because the thing is, like, even if we do it monthly, you say, yeah, we'll have more to talk about, but will we remember to talk about it is the thing. And like, there's a lot of things that are gonna get forgotten.
How so? Because it's
just
gonna
some
be
things.
written down.
Oh. Well, or like, there's just some things that will happen. I don't know. I feel like if you have to write it down to remember it, you're not gonna.
I mean, maybe. I'm just trying to think of an example to where I would like completely forget something.
Oh well. Hey, did you know that the first 10 for affiliates, the first 10 subscribers get a badge that says first on them? That's a thing that came out yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I didn't quite understand what that was.
It's first 10 for affiliates and then first 25 for partners. Your OG supporters.
Yeah.
First.
Trying to think. I know I got that message, but
You can also give out founder badges now. Is that a thing? I didn't see that.
oh, that's
See
what
the
I
first thing?
yeah, that's what I saw. The founder badge.
Founder badge.
Yeah, I have a
Founder
founder badge for
badge.
Dead's channel, Rarfang, and Beto.
Where are you looking to check that?
The little bell by your. You got your avatar, get bits, little bell, and then the crown for the.
Okay, so it's in the little bell.
Yeah. Apparently, I got that message yesterday.
I didn't get any of those messages. I think I. What constitutes the founder?
Let's see here. Maybe have to Google that. Let's take a look. It doesn't really say.
Oh.
Let me type that in. Founder badge. Twitch. Okay, now I'm going to the top level source. Reddit. Oh, is this it? Someone just gave a link. What is a founder badge? Now this is from... I guess I could post this in chat if anyone cares.
See you, Jinko. Have a good night.
Bye, Jinko. Yeah,
All right,
that's
everyone.
what
I'll
I'm
remember
looking
you
at.
all in therapy. God, he's naked.
Founder badge is a subscriber that will be exclusively available to the first 10 Prime.
Paid subscriptions. So I guess gifted subs don't count in that?
I guess not. Affiliate channels that...
Oh yeah, that's founder badge is exactly what I was talking about, the first badge. Oh wait, there's FAQ. Let's see. Which channels will be eligible? Do you have to make any defaults? Creators can't.
I received a gifted sub. Will it qualify for me? Only paid subbed or Twitch Prime subs qualify for founder badge. Receiving a gifted sub will not qualify for the founder badge even if the gifted sub is amongst the first 10. Okay, I think I see what they're talking about.
Yeah, will I be eligible for founder badges if I give a gift subscription to the channel? No, users that give subscriptions in the channel will not be eligible for founder badges. You need to subscribe to the channel and meet the eligibility. Oh, here we go. If I receive a gift subscription, will I qualify? Only paid or Twitch Prime subscriptions qualify for a founder badge. Receiving a gift subscription will not qualify for the founder's badge, even if the gift sub is among the first 10 for affiliates or 25 for partners. Also, will I lose my founder badge status? Once you've earned the founder badge on the channel, it's yours as long as your subscription and account are active. If you do not renew your subscription, the badge is still yours, but it is not visible. Okay, that answers all my questions. Finally, a frequently asked.
Yeah, I know,
answers
right?
all my
Frequently
questions.
answered question
Do
actually
gift
works.
subs count, and when does it show up? As long as you're subscribed.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure founder on my channel. It's 8 slots, because I think 2 people have subbed with Twitch Prime. 8 slots, you better get them while they're still there. Better badge if you do a tier 3 subscription. Shh, don't tell them it's not real. Anyway, I think that's we good? It's
Yeah.
after show?
I think
right.
that's everything that I could think of, so.
Okay.
Alright. I guess see you around, man. Bye. That was it, guys. I think we'll go ahead and end the stream here. Pretty much, what is it the hell I want to do here? There we go. Yeah, I guess, we'll see what happens in, the next couple of days. I think, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and let Dark, host the next podcast. And hopefully, it goes well. I will be hosting the one after that, but like I said, I'll see if I still feel depressed afterwards. I'm hoping it's just a one-time deal and it won't happen again, but we'll see what happens. And of course, kind of like Dark, I take 1,000 years to finally end the stream. So sorry, Josh, that you kind of came in late, but I guess. It was something that just kind of happened because this was our first time we had a third person with us, so sadly we kind of had to just go in and go, because otherwise in a perfect world we'll still have Lucky with us and we'll still be talking about it. But yeah, I'm gonna be, after this stream, when I shut down here, I'm going to go ahead and download Dark's podcast that we just did, and I will throw it up on YouTube as soon as I possibly can. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream right here. Once again, stream-wise, I'm going to be continuing on with Witcher 3, but I think tomorrow I'm gonna take a look at some of the DLCs, and I think we'll probably do some DLC stuff with Bioshock 1 and 2. I think for the most part it might be mostly 2, but we'll see what 1 has. I'm gonna go through them and see if there's any story-driven DLCs, and we'll go from there. And then I think we'll continue that this weekend, and then once we complete them, we're going to be focusing on Witcher 3, and then play that until November 5th gets here. And when November 5th gets here, I'm going to be downloading that thing as soon as I possibly can, and when that thing finishes, I may even consider doing a stream on the 5th. So, we'll see what happens. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you, Dark, for hanging out with me. I also do want to thank our dear friend. Actually, you know what? I was going to do this whenever we end a stream or so, or a podcast. Where is my ish? So, guys, if you want to see some good, entertaining people. This was another thing I thought of doing. Damn it, now I need to pull up the actual... I gotta pull up my actual chat on my thing. I'm kind of browsing on my gaming PC while my streaming is where I'm looking at all the good comments. So, here's Dark's channel. Go check him out. He's good, people. You'll love him. And then, of course, where is our dear friend Lucky? Oh, am I getting the videos part in? God damn it. Okay, now we're good. Get my emotes. I'm not gonna lie, I like seeing the emotes just simply because I created that. But yeah, there's Lucky, there's Dark. Please check them out. They're good people. You'll love them. You'll thank me later. So yeah, they were the two people that was, well, Dark was the one hosting the stream. I was a guest, along with, Lucky as well, and, yeah. So Lucky's good people. He's a great guy, and I hope to see him on, more often, but, this was just the one time his schedule kind of cleared up, so, yeah. Anyway, so I think that's all I really wanted to say, and I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow for another stream. Born to lose, live to win. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace. Bye, everybody. I don't know how to end the stream too well. Dark, help!